First off, I mean, looking at A&M's defense, just what stands out about them, especially their pass rush.
Yeah, I mean, they got elite pass rush. I mean, number one in the nation in sacks. Their third down defense is really good. Obviously the players they have has something to do with it, but I think Elko does an elite job with the packages and the blitzes and the patterns that he brings. You just got to do a really good job in protection, and then you got to do a good job of straining to get open. But where they've gotten people a lot is when they get you in third down, they're just the patterns they bring are tough, and so you got to do a great job of protection. Your eyes have to be really dialed in at running back to who you have, and so we just got to be on point in protection.
A lot is made, obviously, of the crowd there, the noise there. Not that you haven't played in loud places, but how is preparation for that, knowing pre-snap, things like that, things that you need to communicate? What's that process like as you prepare?
I mean, we use crowd noise a lot in practice, and so it's loud enough to where we can't hear ourselves communicate. We know what we're getting into there. I mean, they have a great atmosphere. We have mechanisms in place to handle whatever crowd noise that we have, and so we feel very comfortable as the season has progressed. We had some issues with pre-snap penalties, but we haven't had issues after we've addressed a few things, and we feel very confident in our ability to communicate and process and not have pre-snap penalties.
When you think of what you guys have built, what you've been here for a few years, from when you came in till now, anything you can look at and say, okay, this is really what I'm proud of that we've done?
Mindset. I think our confidence and our mindset has improved, and when you first get somewhere, you have to get to know the place and get to know the kids. I think we were right at 100th in the nation on offense then, and so there's a process to changing your mentality. Scheme matters and all that stuff matters and players matter, but if you don't change your mentality and get to the point where you're good and you go out there and you play with extreme confidence and extreme strain and play fast. And so our mentality right now is really good. Like, we have a high belief in ourselves, and we're in sync, we're communicating well, guys are making plays when they need to make plays. And so really, I mean, if you ask me one thing, it'd be the mindset of the group.
Shannon, Franca and Noah been one of the cornerstones of the offense, and since he got here, just can you put into words just what he's meant and the development he's had over these 3 years?
What if I said no? I couldn't put it into words. That's a tough question because the kid believed when nobody else believed, right? He came here, everybody knows when he came here, it wasn't necessarily where it's at right now. So you got to give a lot of credit to guys that can see before they believe, right? And so, or believe before they see. And so, and his character is so steady. I mean, his ability is obviously what it is, but his character and his leadership are what puts him over the top. He's just a phenomenal kid to be around. And so he's been steady, caught a touchdown pass this year, which I was happy for him. And so it's been an awesome dude.
From an aggressiveness standpoint, is this the most aggressive defense you think you'll go against so far this year? Their approach?
Yeah, I mean, on third downs probably, I do think that there's been a couple teams that's had pretty good third down plans. Typically, D coordinators put a lot of emphasis on third down because that's the last play of the drive. So you're always going to see some creative stuff on third downs. But yeah, they're super aggressive and they're going to bring pressure from a lot of different angles. And we just have to be in tune. Quarterback's eyes have to be good, receivers' eyes have to be good because that ball's got to get out quick at times. And so, but they are a zone pressure mostly, and so they're going to have people dropping out. So you got to be aware of that also. So it puts some challenges on us, and not too many people have been very successful on them in third down. So it'll be a great challenge. I mean, we've been pretty good on third down this year too, and so it'll be a great challenge. I think we'll be ready for it.
Shannon, I asked Mario about this, but just over the last week or so, your name popped up in, for some job opportunities to be a head coach. How do you balance, obviously wanting to advance your career and do things in that regard, while also obviously preparing for, a huge game coming this week?
How do I balance it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy because I don't do anything in that area unless it gets to a certain point. You have people hired to handle all that stuff, and so if it gets to a certain point and things have to be talked about, then you do it on days you're not doing anything. It's very simple. It's not complicated. I mean, our calendars is challenging because everything kind of merges together at the end, and so, but my focus is on one thing, and so I have people in my life that take care of that, and you know, if it gets to the point where I have to address it, it gets addressed in times where I'm not doing anything here, because this trumps anything that would ever come in that world.
You mentioned the eyes of the quarterback in spots, and obviously having Carson, his experience. How much do you lean on that, and how much falls on him in these moments where you're going to have a big third down, you're going to have drives, all the things that come with a game like this?
You know, a ton. I mean, you know, when you're the quarterback and you have a challenge ahead like we have with their defense, I mean, you got to be poised in the pocket. There's going to be some major bullets flying around you, so poise is crucial. Pocket awareness, poise. He's been in big games. You know, this is nothing that he hasn't been in, and so I do think that matters. And so his poise is going to be, you know, basically contagious through the whole group. And so, you know, yeah, I do think that it's going to go, look, at some point both teams are going to come to a situation where it's going to be a crucial time in the game and we got to make a play. And it's no different on their side. And so the team that makes that play is probably going to win the game. And so, and your players, your best players have to be their best in those times. And so he's very aware of that.
You made me think of your mindset being the thing. How do you change it? How do you change a mindset? Certainly not overnight, but what do you do?
I think it's very simple. Mentality is caught, not taught. And so does that make sense? And so people try to create these formulas about, you know, positive attitude, belief, and all of that. Ultimately, it's not taught. People try to teach it. There's no teaching, it's caught. And so I have to be the one that is the example first. And then hopefully my attitude and my belief is worth catching. And if I can get 2 or 3 other guys to believe, then their attitude becomes worth catching. And so it's very contagious. You know, sadly, so is a bad one, right? And so I think the baseline of being very consistent every day with your attitude is the most important. You know, there's no magic formula, there's no magic play, there's no magic scheme. A lot of teams are doing very similar stuff, right? And so the people that do it the best will ultimately win the games. It's no different with the mindset. So if you're sitting there looking at a mindset of a group and you want to change it, then first of all, your attitude has to be worth catching. And if it isn't, then you don't have a chance. And so then ultimately the best players in the room and the best leaders in the room start influencing the people around them. And that's all leadership is. Leadership is influence. And so you don't have to be a starter or a great player to influence somebody. You can influence the guy beside you by being nice to him or being a certain way to him. That's going to change his day, and that's going to change his outset. And so the more I can get individual people to grasp on to the fact that they're inspiring the people around them in their circle, because everybody's got different little pods of circles, right? So if I can get people injected into those circles that have attitudes worth catching, and then the whole group can catch it.
Shannon,
It's a long answer to a short question.
Shannon, with Malachi, where do you think the biggest strides he's made as the season has gone on to where he's at, the way he's playing right now? Where do you think it is?
I don't know if it's anything about him. He's been the same person since the beginning, but I do think that having an understanding that the kid should be in high school still, you know, so if you go back and look at how the season has progressed, there's a journey, right? And if you let that journey just play out, you know, we're sitting there through camp and this kid's making plays every day at practice. And so you're like, in your mind, you're like, man, this kid's got a chance to be special. But ultimately, practice doesn't matter. You guys aren't out there, you know, they don't have 80,000 people come watch practice. So ultimately, you have to do it in the game. And so I was hoping that, you know, he would carry that ability over to a game, and the game wouldn't be quote unquote too big for him, right? Because sometimes you see that with young guys. They'll have great practices and they don't necessarily translate to a game until later in their career. Does that make sense? So with him, the hope was like, hey, I hope this translates into a game. And then it was pretty obvious in the first game that he made plays, and the game was not too big for him. And so he just kept stacking games and stacking games. Now then, it became a process of like, hey, this kid can do a lot more. So let's push the limits of what we can do with him. So then it started becoming, hey, let's have a, wild Malicat package for him, and so, because the kid can throw. And not only can he throw, he can like read a progression. Like the first guy didn't have to be open for him to go and throw it to the next guy. And so his capacity is just different, it's unique. And so I'm just trying to push the limits of what he can handle through the course of a game. And so we do a lot of different things with him. And that's just gonna continue as his career goes. I mean, it's been a building block of every week leading, through the season. And you can see how it's kind of gone lately over the past month and a half. It's just been more and more and more. And so just trying to find unique ways to use his ability is the key.
Is that the official name for it, the Malicat?
That's what I call it.
And then looking at the running game, I was looking, you guys are ranked pretty low in terms of just explosive runs, like 10 plus, 20 plus yards.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah. How are you guys working, I guess, to try to get, maybe some more explosive runs, just that, especially with guys like Pringle who can have that burst?
Yeah, I mean, we're just focusing on running up the middle more,
Of course.
because that would tend to lead to more explosive plays. Look, we just gotta stick with it. There's been games where we ran the ball really well, and there's been games where defenses have stacked the box and made us do other things. And so I think that we have the ability to stress you in a lot of different ways. I think we've been running the ball really efficient the last month. And we have people that can be explosive with the ball, so I don't view it probably like you view it, but ultimately I get, sometimes stats don't paint all the picture, and so we've been pretty efficient in the run game. Now, I would like to be more explosive, yes. And I think that's coming.
I want to ask about a stat.
What's that?
From PFF, so they have Malachi at 106 targets, 0 drops.
Really?
Have you ever seen that?
I don't know. That's an interesting one. I mean, I would want to see how accurate that is. I mean, I'm trying to think back through the season and think of if he had a drop, and I can't think of one. So it says 106
Targets, yeah.
Wow. No, I don't think I've seen that. That's a good stat. See, look at my man right here being positive. You ought to take a note of that. See, you should influence him. I'm telling you, you should influence him. He has an attitude worth catching. I'm not sure about it.